So timestamps exist in case you want to skip forward, but I didn't even realize that I did not even win the race a single time as gold chip. So that's going to be the goal for today, all 3 gold chip runs. Otherwise, just going to be yapping on about the rest of my Musume career because I only have about, well, I didn't show, but I only have about 500-ish carrots right now, probably less than that really, but I'm doing my best to survive with what I've got. Also, again, as always, I'll show the stats as well, even though if you've watched a previous one, you would already know, but that's why timestamps exist. But yeah, just to talk about it as we get an awful mood here. Again, you really shouldn't parfait here, but I'm doing it. That being said, so here's my gold chip. As always, nothing too special. I haven't made any improvements because, well, I'm also making preparations. Not just for Champions Meet, but for the future as well. And by that, I mean I'm doing general preparations, like, you know, getting stamina, getting power, really those two, but getting every other stat or aptitude if possible, you know, all of the distance aptitudes, all of the strategy aptitudes if possible, but really I can only focus on 1 or 2 at the moment and then try to move on. Now that doesn't mean I'm going for 3 stars all the time because that would be very, very RNG, but otherwise, as we get into the race here, yeah, I'm doing my best with what I've got. Yeah, but I don't have a lot of carrots. I really don't have a lot of carrots, so we're gonna see. Again, it was kind of my own self-experiment just to see how many carrots I get, because you never know if they're just gonna give you carrots, like they did right before the end of the Kita-san Black banner, as the new monthly rewards rolled in for clubs, and even just, I think, the week update, the weekly team trials update, which I need to hit class 6 now, just for at least the one-time rewards, but yeah, otherwise we're just gonna see how many carrots I can recover before the next banner I care about. Now, I'm not gonna be able to save enough anytime soon unless, like I mentioned earlier, they gave us carrots, but as we enter the final spurt here, we need a breakthrough, by the way. We need a breakthrough right now, but if Nichino Flower wins, that would be very funny. But yeah, as Sakura Bakushin and gold chips win to the outside, yeah, we'll see how many carrots I can get in about 2-3 months. That's kind of what I'm looking at for at least 30,000 carrots as we pull forward here. Hopefully we pass. There's no way Sakura Bakushin passes up, not with her speed and power is low. But, I mean, you can do that for event races like this as I actually get my first trophy with gold chip here. Because, yeah, you can just outstat your opponent. Now, I'm not saying everyone's going to be able... If you start the game right now, it might be a bit dicey, and we might as well just use these up because I need to enable daily shops as well. I might be able to show you also the cool gold chip star pieces that I've just been collecting over the... basically since global server open, but otherwise we'll just move on and to the next race. But I think I have around like 81 gold chip pieces because I bought a few from the shop because I'm really trying to push gold chip. Now at this point some trainers might say, well Jordan, you would have most likely had enough gold chip pieces if you had scouted a lot of Musume, because as you may have heard or you may have seen, I don't really... I'll go for the awful mood, why not? You might have noticed that, hey, I didn't do a lot of scouts for Musume themselves, which will hurt me. My minimum was about 33%, 66% Musume to support cards, but a long time ago I also said 50-50. So I don't think either number is wrong, it just depends on what you want to do. And that's really what a big part of Musume depends on. Yeah, whether or not you scout for support cards more than Musume. Now, again, I assume it's different for most other, or for among trainers, that the kind of ratio to what you scout for is different. But obviously things like waiting for Christmas Ogre, Summer Maruzensky when that comes along, the Summer Maruzensky support card, things like that are going to be important. But I mean, in a perfect world where we experience above average luck, and I mean really above average luck. Is that the first time I've done warning shot? Anywho, yeah, in an above average luck world, you would pull on, or you would scout for a lot of support cards on Musume, and not get all of them, but get the ones that you would want. For those who are concentrating on Champions Meeting, which is a big part of Musume, it would be the quote-unquote meta things here and there. That way you have more. And then obviously getting a few other support cards on Musume. We did not break out fast enough, did we? We get pretty close. I think we're right there. Yeah. I would say like no more than 2 links away. But we just don't catch up because, hey, you got to break out of the pack. Out of curiosity, how far was I? Placing, yeah, 1 length away. I mean, that looked like 1 length, but I wasn't sure. So-called person who's trying to learn more Musume. But anywho, if you can get a second trophy for the end. Wait, is this the 3rd day? I'm going crazy. No, this is the 2nd day. Then why am I doing so many gold chip runs? Well, that means tomorrow you'll see Tokai Teo because I think I've yet to get the trophy with Tokai Teo. Again, you don't need to grab, you only need to win once to get any tangible benefits that you care about. Also, yeah, that's right, we were in an awful mood, so we were experiencing a 4% stat decrease, but actually that would have made a difference. One length there, I've mentioned this, this is my own opinion based on what I know of Musume, both in research and just on observation of my own personal experience. But I do believe Musume is a game of a lot of small variables working together. Now, that's not really something spectacular to notice, but I think it is a game of small variables. Again, the obvious examples are negatively if you get late started into a rush, into getting blocked the whole time. Then yes, those are larger variables working in tandem to hurt you. But I mean, I think being blocked is just a huge part of just being anyone but a front runner. That's why they get the benefits they do. Again, I've mentioned before in very earlier videos that even pace surgers compared to front runners and late surgers compared to those two, and end closers compared to those three, experience acceleration and top speed benefits because of how their strategy works. I'm just paraphrasing here because trying to immerse myself, but you get the point. Although late surgers do have, I think they have the stamina advantage, and to some extent, they do have an acceleration advantage during the final leg, but during the last spurt, end closers are supposed to pull forward like this. But the whole point of being a strategy that works from the front is that you have enough of a lead, and then you proc skills. Skills are a big part of it if you're assuming that stat levels are at average. Especially when you're looking at the races. Again, I always say to look at the races and the distances in particular, instead of just the length category. But as we finish this off here and get into our last daily sale, yeah, not really much else to say. I may or may not, I mean, again, looking at this, if I haven't said this already, it may seem like I'm just replacing Legend Race videos with longer videos because I'm lazy, but I swear to you, that's not the case. Although I do want to do at least one video per day on Musume. But yeah, as you can see here, we have 450 carats. You've noticed my team rank fluctuating as we're at the end screen here. That's because I've just been trying to make adjustments. And no, that's not because I was trying to use Wit's Musume. That's simply because, well, so for example, when I'm in a long race, I want to have 1200 HP, which is not the case. I've just been slapping whoever I could finish with the URA career into my team trials just to get my first bonus. But at this point, if you've been playing since the beginning of Global Server, you should have more tuned Musume. But yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. If you have anything to say, you know what to do. If you want to support me, you know what to do. Bye!